Hey everybody, it's Timothy here. We're doing another Masters 25 draft. I think the consensus by now is that people enjoy this set, but it's pretty, um, honestly, pretty bad value in real life. So, hence why I'm playing online. This might be, I don't know, my 10th draft or so, where I end up in blue-white very, very often because I pick Mana War highly. But here we have a lot of really cool green cards. In fact, there are 6 green cards in this pack, and they're all pretty playable. I actually really like Kavu Predator in green-white. You can get, what is it, Rest in Peace, or Swords to Plowshares, and just go over the top with it. I think I want to try out Elvish Piper. It's a pretty frail creature, but if you untap with it, you can start slamming, like, Dreadmaws at instant speed for 1 mana and stuff like that. So I'll try it out. And I don't think this is like a busted rare because it does take a lot to go right in order for it to be good. Also, if it's like the last card in your hand, it's pretty bad. But otherwise, I'd be taking another pretty equal green creature. And yeah, I do happen to like the green beatdown decks. Unfortunately, in this follow-up pack, it doesn't look like we have anything along those lines. If I wanted to be green-white beatdown, I would take probably Knight of the Skyward Eye, but I'm not going to pass up a Merfolk Looter when we have a pack that just doesn't have very much going for it in the first place. Green-blue cards you can get in this set, Mystic Snake and Lorescale Quaddle, which are both pretty good cards. I think Blightnin's probably an overrated card. This does enough that it's a justifiable pick. A Mind Rot and a Bolt to your opponent is quite good, but you have to be pretty all-in aggressive to want this sort of card in the first place. Other than that, the only card that goes with my first pick is Wildheart Invoker. Not that you can't just like Elvish Piper in any creature, but I'm going to pick up a value card here. yeah, whatever. Alright, I could speculate on Squadron Hawks here. This is why I end up blue-white a lot, is because I take this card highly and try to get a bunch of Squadron Hawks. If you end up green-white, I do think it's good, and a third pick Squadron Hawk is not bad. Outside of that, there's a ton of red cards here. Epic Confrontation is very good in the green aggressive decks, or at least any green deck that wants to be smashing. Cloud Shift has a lot of utility in this set, both with morphs and threaten effects, and just as a way to save your creatures. ETB effects as well, Humble Defector. Like, it works with so many different things. There's also Chandra's Outrage, which is a good removal spell. But I'm going to spec on the Squadron Hawk, which you probably see me do in these videos very often, and it doesn't quite go well for me, but it is what it is. Follow that up, we have Twisted Abomination, which is good, but not going to branch into the fourth color this time. Brood Hatch Nantuko, which is not a card I've actually played with, and not a card I've run into yet, but it does seem like a good way to kind of break a board stall or turn, I don't know, get your opponent, I guess. It's also good with Epic Confrontation, which I could take here. And there's also Nettle Sentinel, which I'm not a huge fan of, unless I know I end up in like this green-white aggressive deck. None of the blue cards really interest me, although Horseshoe Crab, quite broken with the right kinds of strategies. I'm going to go ahead and take the Morph here. Mostly just to, I don't know, try it out. Nikki B. I haven't taken any red or black cards, and I don't even know if I'm blue yet, so I don't know how I feel about that option. I'm probably going to take something a little less exciting here. Hordeling Outburst is quite good, and it does look like red is pretty open. Plus, I don't know, like Hordeling Outburst, Brood Hatch Nantuko, Squadron Hawk, this does lend me towards like some sort of a, I don't want to say, token-based deck. Could also just take Ambassador Oak, which is good with these cards. Also makes 2 bodies, so maybe I'm looking for things that work well with multiple bodies. Yeah, I'm just going to take the green card here. Even though, again, I think red is quite open, but it also looks like green's pretty open. Now I have a choice. Kavu Predator I've already mentioned as thinking this card is good, but I don't have any combos with it at the moment. And a 2/2 trample for 2 is not impressive on its own. There's also big old Colossal Dreadmaw, which is good with Elvish Piper, and then Epic Confrontation, which we're seeing a bunch of these. I'm hoping at least one wheels, but I think I'm actually going to take Dreadmaw here, just to have a finisher in my deck. Could also take Shoreline Ranger, but I'm less into that. Just because I've seen so many Epic Confrontations, I feel like I might get one back, but I like having at least one of these big boys in the deck. Ember Weaver. This pack's pretty bad. This pack sucks. I'm not a fan of Vessel of Nascency at all. I think it's just kind of a waste of mana. Since there isn't really a Delirium theme or anything going on here. It's just, why am I doing this unless I have a reason to get cards out of my graveyard? Ember Weaver is not great unless you're playing red, and the red cards don't even interest me here. I could take Plummet just as a sideboard card, but Ember Weaver is a fine sideboard card as well. And then there's Primal Clay, which I don't really care too much for Primal Clay. Twisted Image has utility in this set, sure. I might take Cultivate here, or I could take Woolly Loxodon. Cultivate's good in case I end up splashing, and if I'm a green-based deck that wants to splash, then that's fine. Woolly Loxodon's good as a morph, and it's also good off Elvish Piper, and Ambassador Oak, I think, is worse than just the Loxodon. So, do I want to Cultivate? Do I feel like I'm going to end up splashing? I'm just going to take the big boy. And we're wheeling lots of green cards and an Auramancer. Could take the Predator if I feel like I'm going to get some combos with that, but again, currently I don't have any. Might take Kavu Climber here, as opposed to just another big creature. Kavu Climber is a fine card to add to the board. I like it in grindy matchups. Alright, now we have choice here. It does look like I'm going to end up possibly green-white, so Knight of the Skyward Eye is nice. Echo and Courage works nicely with, say, Brood Hatch Nantuko and Squadron Hawks if I end up getting those. But I only saw one in this pack. Then there's Wild Heart Invoker. This card goes last like every single time in this set. I think the card's good though. I like it quite a bit. Combat Trick or Knight of the Skyward Eye. I think I can always get Echo and Courages if I want them. And let's go ahead and test ourselves and see if we end up getting any of these epic confrontations back. We're not going to. It looks like they were all sniped up, so it is what it is. I guess Enthralled Victor is probably the best of these options. Who knows? Maybe I end up playing red. I'm not playing black, that's for sure. And Vessel can go straight to the sideboard. Alright, not impressed with the start here. Just a bunch of green creatures, which, I mean, can lend ourselves towards the beatdown deck. Like Nettle Sentinel into Knight of the Skyward Eye into 3-drop is a pretty good curve out, but you usually need combat tricks to back that up. Looks like Merfolk Looter is probably going to be our victim here. As far as cards that we're not going to play, this follow-up pack has pretty much nothing I want for green. I could take Myriad Landscape, which I think is a solid card. Not great, but solid. I could take Cloud Blazer, which is very good, even off of a splash, but I didn't take that Cultivate, did I? Cloud Blazer is probably just better than most of the things I'm going to pick up here. Kindle would also work. Like, I could be red-green, and that makes Ember Weaver a little better. It lets me play Enthrall and Victor, which is good in these sorts of decks. And Kindle is pretty good. And then I don't have to... I'm not going to play Squadron Hawk if I only get one anyway. And I'd be losing out on just Skyward Eye as opposed to Cloud Blazer. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Kindle. Although it's kind of weird, I don't expect to get a lot of red in this pack considering how open it was in pack 1, but I will certainly be on the lookout for it. Another Enthralled Victor? Alright. Here I could take Arbor Elf. Arbor Elf is a good card to start off with in the matches, as opposed to another Enthralled Victor, which would be a lot better if I had Cloud Shifts or something like that. I'm just going to take Arbor Elf here. I like the mana ramp. I'm not going to argue over that one. Master of the Wild Hunt. Now, that is a good card. Master of the Wild Hunt, also not a card I get to play with very often. Also, I'm going to get this Echo and Courage back for sure. Azusa does not actually seem like a good card. This is the second time I think I've opened it while filming or while recording, and I don't see it being that good. The body is pretty weak, and if you top tech this late in the game, it basically doesn't have an ability. It's not too far off from just like a card that lets you put an additional land into play, and that's pretty much it. There's Fence and Ace, which is fine, but Master of the Wild Hunt is a beating. Also a pretty sweet card to drop with him, Elvish Piper, since you can put it in on your opponent's turn and then not have to sweat whether or not it's going to live. Still wondering if we play white or green here, or white or red. There's a Giant Growth. Giant Growth is good in these sorts of decks. Just blank like a burn-based removal spell or get your creatures through their creatures. Other than that, there's, say, Hordling Outburst, Pendlehaven. How many 1/1s do I have? I guess I have like Elvish Piper, Ambassador Oak, Arbor Elf. And that's it. Maybe Squadron Hawk if I pick up more of those and go along that route. I kind of like this Pendlehaven. I'm not missing out on too much is the reason why I'm kind of speculating on taking it here. Just because I do have like 3 things that are going to get pumped by it, and it's not a land that comes in tapped, so it's pretty low cost to put it in your deck. I also end up with a lot of playables in this format. I think it's fine to go ahead and, improve your land base. Watchwolf is a reason to go green-white. I mean, this is a very good card on turn 2. There's not a lot that kills it in the format either, like Kindle and Dismember aren't going to take care of it. They need Bolt, Swords of Plowshares, one of the uncommon removal spells, basically. Could also take another Nettle Sentinel or Perilous Mirror, which works with Pendelhaven and is also just a card I like in aggressive decks. It's kind of annoying. It doesn't actually swing for much, but it's kind of a difficult creature to block because it trades up for like 3/3s. I'm going to go ahead and take Watchwolf here, and it looks like green-white is what I'm sinking into. Ooh, another Squadron Hawk. That's kind of a gift. If I can pick up one more Squadron Hawk, I'll be super happy. If not for the Squadron Hawk, I'd pick up, say, Dauntless Cathar here. And basically what we're prioritizing, I'm surprised none of those epic confrontations came back, but what we're prioritizing is going to be removal spells and Squadron Hawks. Do I want to disenchant the first Timberpack Wolf, another Loxodon, or a Kavu Predator? I haven't seen a single Rest in Peace yet, so I'm kind of leaning away from the Kavu Predator, although it's important to have some 2-drops. Timberpack Wolf, I can kind of speculate on and see if another one comes. Yeah, let's do that. Because if I get more Timberpack Wolves, they're going to be better than the Kavu Predator. Yeah, Loyal Sentry doesn't seem very good here. Wool. Take Woolly Loxodon for sure. I just like Woolly Loxodon. Could take a Self-Assembler or some other crappy card I'm not going to play. Yeah, we'll go ahead and self-assemble. Got 2 more cards I can be on the lookout for extra copies. And I would say this deck is not great right now, but if I can pick up maybe 2 or 3 removal spells in the last pack and just really prioritize those, I think it'll get a lot better. Does have some pretty high-end cards, like Elvish Piper and Master of the Wild Hunt are both very strong cards. Also seems like the type of deck that's going to have pretty good curve out. Ember Weaver is going to go away here. I might want Presence of Gone, to be honest. This is a type of card in a board saw that's very good. Adds a bunch of bodies to the board. And honestly, I don't want Vessel or Ember Weaver since I'm not playing the first of either of those. Might not even play this Presence of Gone, but Echo and Courage, or another Brood Hatch Nantuko. I'm going to go ahead and take the Courage here because it could be good in this deck. Mana cost. Ooh, Giant Growth coming back. Or do I want another Self-Assembler? I don't think so. I think I want Giant Growth here. It's kind of awkward. Another Nettle Sentinel. I'll start playing these now. If I end up shifting towards the low end of this curve, I'll definitely have wanted those. Does White Mane Lion do much for me here? Rebuys Kavu Climber. Rebuys Ambassador Oak. Oh, I guess I got Disenchant. I think I was going to take that over whatchamacallit anyway. Alright, so this last pack, we want removal spells, or do we want Gisela? Ooh, Gisela is a game ender. What am I missing out on? Arbor Elf? Not a single removal spell in this pack, besides Disfigure. Gisela would only require me splashing red. Currently, I don't think I have a way to splash, but this is also a 7-drop, so it's not like you need to play it. Plus, I have at least one way to cheat it into play. And I would kind of be living the dream if I get to do that, right? I think I'm going to take Gisela. High enough upside. Maybe I can pick up like 1 Ash Barrens or something. I only really need one way to splash for me to really be able to play this and be happy with it. Ooh, Rorick Thar as well. Rorick Thar is strong, as is Boros Charm. Boros Charm is not exactly removal, but the fact that it gives indestructible or double strike to a creature often makes it function as removal, and sometimes it kills the opponent. I think I'm going to want Rorick Thar, though. This is a big boy. Again, looking for a way to splash here. Live and Death. This card is very, very strong. But definitely not for my deck. This is the type of card you want to open with and build around because this is probably one of the strongest rares in the set just because of how many cycling creatures there are and how unexpected it is when your opponent plays it. I mean, if you go back to the match where I played against this, I just got smashed by it. Stampede Driver is nice and all, but I'm taking another Watchwolf and just lamenting the fact that I'm not seeing removal. The third Watchwolf, wow. Yeah, third Watchwolf, you say. Noble Templar would be nice. Any sort of fixin', even if it's for forests or plains, does make Splash and Red a little easier. Giant Growth would be nice, but we're going to go all in on Watchwolves here. Iwamori. Oh, Epic Confrontation is exactly what I want here. I would play Iwamori. Fun story, I watched someone play this at the last FNM, and the other person played the white Akroma, which was pretty insane. Epic Confrontation is what this deck wants, especially with a bunch of 2-mana 3/3s and stuff like that. Might not play Timberpack Wolf, probably not playing Self-Assembler. The rest of the deck right now I'm kind of fine with. Pendlehaven's not amazing, but it's kind of free to play too. Alright. Ooh, Path of Peace is good. I don't have any of the Kavus, but this is just a good removal spell. It's probably better than another Arbor Elf. I mean, I need removal. God's Willing is also quite good, so consider that. But Eladamri's Call, Cultivate, Echo Encourage, Promise of Boonrai. These are all good cards. I wish this was more spread out. I'm leaning towards Cultivate because it gets a red source. And like I said, I really only need one red source in the deck to be happy playing like these top-end cards. Eladamri's Call is instant to go get a creature from my deck and put it in my hand. Very, very good if I end up with, what's it called? Elvish Piper on the battlefield. But it's not something I can rely on. Also another Timberpack Wolf, too. Didn't even see that down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One of these cards is wheeling. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be like Echo Encourage or Borrowing 1,000 Arrows, but I'm going to take Cultivate here and shore up that splash on these two. And Arbor Elf? Arbor Elf does ramp me. I mean, I will play another Arbor Elf. And the pack we open, still not very good. I don't think I have anything that goes with this Aramancer here, or at least not enough that I'm willing to take it. I think what I might want here is actually Congregate. This is a card that I found to be quite good against the weenie aggressive decks. Out of the sideboard, of course. God's Willing or Nettle Sentinel. Another Nettle Sentinel does make Echo Encourage better. I kind of like God's Willing, though. It kind of does what Cloud Shift would do in this deck, which I would not mind wheeling a Cloud Shift since I do have 2 Woolly Loxodons. It's quite good with those. It's also good with Kavu Climber. I mean, it's just good in general. Do I want Stampede Driver here? If I'm the beatdown, this card does go a long way. It also works with Pendlehaven. RX Survivalist, less necessary when I have Disenchant. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the Stampede Driver. Giant Growth is good. Supernatural Stamina is also good. Not going to play any of these. Not going to play any of these. And what was that last pick? Yep, Echo Encourage. Fine. Fine. I don't think I need 2 Echo Encourages and 2 Giant Growths, though, so we'll definitely consider what we have there. This deck looks solid. It's definitely going to be a good beatdown. It's not really tricky or cutesy kind of deck or anything like that, but I think that's fine. Ember Weaver can come out, and we can just consider these off of the sideboard. Echo Encourage number 2 can come out. I think it's normally just going to be worse than Giant Growth. I might not even want 2 Giant Growths. Note that Rurik Thar does shoot me for 6 if I cast a spell, so there's that. Anything else I don't want? I think 2 Squadron Hawks is fine, and Squadron Hawk does get better with Pendlehaven. Kind of a shame I never see the 3rd Squadron Hawk, and I would vent about this. I think people just, like, speculatively snatch up Squadron Hawks if they see them in the 3rd pack or something like that, and there's not really a lot of reason to do it unless you have a reason to believe you're going to get a bunch of Squadron Hawks, but even if you're playing white and you went through all of pack 1 and 2 not seeing any Squadron Hawks, you probably shouldn't be going in on them pack 3 unless you're intentionally hate drafting. And it's weird because people only do that with Squadron Hawk. They don't do it with like accumulated knowledge or anything like that. I don't know. I've just noticed that Squadron Hawks, there's usually like 3 to 4 in a draft pod, and you only end up getting 2. Granted, there could always just be another person at the table who ends up wanting more Squadron Hawks. So 2 is not a bad place to be. Do I want to cut one of the Arbor Elves? Yeah, I guess I can cut an Arbor Elf here. I want too many 1-drops. Woolly Loxodon back in the 3-drop slot where you belong. My card quality is pretty strong. I mean, this is ambitious, but they are late-game cards, so I don't mind putting one Mountain, one Cultivate in my deck, and also have an Elvish Piper as ways to potentially cheat them into play. This thing has reach, too. It's kind of funny. Also, I think people forget that this has to attack. I played against a deck that had this in it. This and 2 Prushes. That was kind of pretty insane. Alright, anyway, back to cuts. Could cut God's Will in here. Although I like it as a nice little protection spell if I didn't get Cloud Shift. I would much rather have Cloud Shift because it does kind of what God's Willin' wants to do. Although God's Willin' is a way to push your creatures in, whereas Cloud Shift is a way to protect your creatures. I don't know. At any rate, how many lands do I think I'm playing? Probably 17. It's kind of unfortunate I don't have a lot of card draw, but Stampede Driver is a nice way to use extra lands. And I guess that's about it. Kavu Climber is really my only way to use extra lands. Maybe I want to push it and be 16 since I have like Arbor Elf and Cultivate. I don't have any land cyclers. Regardless, I'd still have to make 2 cuts. What's just not good here? I really don't love Nettle Sentinel, but in this sort of deck, I think I want to play Nettle Sentinel. Epic Confrontations stay in. Hawks are probably staying. Guess I could cut Ambassador Oak. Card's fine. Kavu Climber also is like, these are cards that are just fine, but completely cuttable. Stampede Driver gives Trample, right? Yeah. I don't love Nettle Sentinel, but it is kind of important for these decks to have a 1-drop. And I can't rely on always having Arbor Elf. Just making sure I'm not forgetting anything here. Night of the Skyward Eye I've actually been pretty happy with. Echo and Courage, I might just want to ditch. Sometimes it's kind of a weak Giant Growth, but there are cards I have multiples of. It works with the Wolves from Master of the Wild Hunt. It works with the tokens from Broodhatch Nantuko, the Squadron Hawks, the Arbor Elves, the Nettle Sentinels. I guess I only have 1 Arbor Elf, but you get the point. Alright, we're going to go ahead and ditch the combat trick there, and probably like 1 Nettle Sentinel or something like that. I could cut just Kavu Climber or Ambassador Oak. Let's go and get rid of Oak here. And just keep some low curve stuff that we can beat down with. Kind of want the second Giant Growth. I'm going to actually cut God's Will for a second Giant Growth, I think. And then if I play against decks that have just like tons of murders and the like, I might make that switch back. Now, real question, am I comfortable playing 16 lands when I have 2 6-drops and a 7-drop? And a 7-drop? Not really, but Cultivate and Arbor Elf do help that out. So if I add 1 Mountain and Pendlehaven, that leaves room for 14 lands, and I have very few white cards. It's kind of funny. I could almost like put in some red cards, take out the white. Well, then I lose out on Watchwolves, so not really into that. Yeah, we're just leaps and bounds green here. Yeah, 1 Mountain sounds right. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think I'm going to go like 6, 8 or something like that. 16. So this gives me 9 main deck green sources just off the bat, 6 white sources, which is not really enough to be playing Squadron Hawks, but it is and Watchwolves reliably. Maybe I go down to like 8 and 7. I'd have so many 1-drop green cards though. Yeah, all right. I do want to be able to cast my Watchwolves. That's kind of why I'm making this cut here. If I miss out on a 1-drop, but I'm able to cast a Watchwolf on turn 2, I think that's fine. 7, 8, 1. Yep. With a Cultivate as really the only form of mana fixing in the deck. Didn't pick up any lands there, but this is going to be our deck. We did draft just a sweet little beatdown deck here, and hopefully the red splashes pay off for us. If not, hopefully we get to Piper something sweet into play. But anyway, thanks for watching. As always, my name's Timothy with Mana Rocks, and we'll see if we can beat some people down here. All right, we are playing match 1 with a very keepable hand. 1-drop, 2-drop, Pump Spell, plus Pendlehaven for the 1-drop is nice. Kind of like this. I'm not going to show my opponent Pendlehaven yet, since I don't have to, even though I also anticipate that won't do very much. But if Stampede Driver gets in 1 or 2 damage, that'd be nice. And Watchwolf on turn 2 is sweet. So all we want to draw here is gas, not lands. Let's go ahead and attack for 1. Hopefully my opponent uses a bolt on this if they have one. They will not, though. And send in the Watchwolf. Next turn, probably playing Pendlehaven, attacking with both. It's going to be hard for most creatures to block Stampede Driver. Oh, you have Squadron Hawks. Let's see how many they get. If they get 2, I'm going to be a little salty. Just a little bit, though. Like, not a lot. Uh-oh. They're clicking a lot. Oh, they only got 1. Taste it. How does it feel? All right, let's go and play Pendlehaven here so that they can't really attack Stampede Driver, and then we'll drop another Watchwolf. Yep, taking 4. Another Watchwolf coming down. This is not a bad start. And any gas off the top would be nice. I can cast most things in my deck. Ooh, Master of the Wild Hunt actually works with these Watchwolves. I didn't really think about that. I haven't really played with the card much. I think it's tap all wolves you control. They deal damage equal to their total power to target creature, and then that creature splits up its damage between the wolves. It also obviously makes wolf tokens. Ooh, Lunarch Mantle. Huh. Alright, that's interesting. So I can now just attack with the Watchwolves and use Stampede Driver here. This gives +1/+1 in trample. I could also have Giant Growth as backup. Let's see what the opponent does here. If they don't block, I can deal 11 to them. I'm not going to do that here. I anticipate maybe they're going to try and give this a lifelink or something like that next turn. Maybe that's why they're doing this. Or maybe they're trying to get it out of reach of, like, a sweeper. Kindle on this thing. Well, I can give it +1/+2. So it'll survive this Kindle. If they're trying to use a second Kindle, though, then that makes sense. They played around Stampede, or they played around Pendlehaven before. Huh. Maybe they just forgot about Pendlehaven there. Another Squadron Hawk. All right. Let's see what we draw here first. Ooh, I kind of like Kavu Climber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can attack with both the Watchwolves and just see how they block. Maybe go like Giant Growth here. If not, I'll just play Kavu Climber. Maybe I trade off a Watchwolf here. Like, I'm getting their Lunarch Mantle, too. I'm just putting another 3/3 on board. This is tempting. Now I think I'm just going to Giant Growth. And get both these Hawks off board. 6. Although I'm not adding to the board if I do that, but next turn they're in a lot of trouble if they don't have removal spells. Because I'm going to crashing in for 8 damage potentially. Yeah, I think I'm going to Giant Growth and just save my thing. I do have more action to follow up with, if nothing else, so I think this is fine. Keep Pendlehaven up. Put my opponent down to 6. And see what they have to follow up with. Not going to F6 on account of Pendlehaven here. Oh, and they just had nothing. Sweet. Watchwolf is a strong card. Against red-white, I'm more willing to want God's Willing. Although Giant Growth is going to do the same trick as God's Willing, given what we saw. Ember Weaver looks like a marginal amount better here. Granted, we only saw a little bit. I could cut like it. I only saw flyers. I could cut like this random morph and bring in, say, Ember Weaver or something like that. Just something to deal with flying. I think that's a fine trade since I only saw 2 flyers. Where are you at, Ember Weaver? Not that Ember Weaver's ever going to be super good or anything, but I think that's a fair exchange to make based on what we saw. Primal Clay would also kind of do the trick, but I like Ember Weaver as a sideboard card against Squadron Hawks. Not very good against Squadron Hawks with Lunarch Mantle, but so be it. Ooh, the white mana not doing so well here, and the Rurik Thar not looking very good. If I draw a white source, this is good, but if I don't, with 8 in my deck, it doesn't really do much. So I'd be asking to draw a white source within the first 2 turns of the game, I think I'd rather just mull this here. Because if I don't draw white, my deck doesn't, or the deck does nothing. So I am going to mull, and this seems fine. Opponent also went down to 6. Let's see what their scry looks like. I'm going to go Forest Nettle Sentinel. This can definitely stay on top. I would not mind curving into that. Ooh, they got a Frenzied Goblin. Well, that's nice that they're probably going to have to play that. One downside of having Nettle Sentinel here is that if I attack with it, it's probably not untapping for a while since I'm not casting a green spell till turn 4 currently. And you have a Lunarch Mantle. Alright. I'm going to take a lot of damage this game. Epic Confrontation would be an insane draw here. Watchwolf also gets the job done, for the most part. That means I can attack with Nettle Sentinel. Oh, this thing flies, doesn't it? Oh, they have to sack a permanent to make it fly. Sure. Alright, I do get to curve out here, but I'm going to take a lot of damage in the meantime. Yes, I would love to untap this. This is a May ability. I may untap it. You know, this is actually good with Presence of Gond. I presume this is attacking and making Watchwolf. Ooh. Alright, that thing's going to get huge. Removal spell is going to have to happen. I don't care so much about the 10 life they're going to gain. I care more about the damage they're going to put out on me here. I'm already down to 13. Maybe I can race them, though. Maybe. Pendelhaven's still... I think it's more important to just have green sources here. So attack for 5, play a Morph, or I could just play a Morph, but then they go, Watchwolf can't block, they're attacking with a 5/5, so yeah, let's just bash. Play Morph. Well, I can't actually race because of that ordeal. That's going to make it pretty hard to race. I mean, they're going to go up to 23 life next turn. I'm taking 5 this turn, 6 next turn. Frenzied Goblin's also a good creature to put this on. They have to spend red mana to make me not block, I think, though. Right here, they don't actually have to. And they did not. I'm tapped out. They shouldn't use red mana to make me not block. Keep their mana open for something else. I would love to top deck just like a removal spell, because even if I get to play this Master of the Wild Hunt, I'm going to get owned by this Lunarch Mantle. Spike Shot Goblin. Not too worried about that. Seems very good in their deck, though. Cultivate doesn't do anything for me. It takes 6 minimum, 7 possibly next turn. So I'm not dead on board, but pretty close to it. Master of the Wild Hunt is going to actually be too slow unless I draw another Watchwolf next turn. But I'm going to play Master of the Wild Hunt. If they have any sort of pump spell, I just die. Yeah, let's attack with both. Maybe they don't give it flying and I can just like jump block it or something with Nettle Sentinel. That would save me a turn. But, I mean, if they give it flying and they have any way to deal 2 damage or a Kindle or something, then I die. But there's nothing I can do about this curve out. I only have 2 removal spells in my deck, and I didn't happen to have them this time. So let's just see if they've got it first. If they do not give this thing flying, oh, I guess they could also say, you know what, Nettle Sentinel can't block. Do you want to block with Master of the Wild Hunt? Go and let him resolve the ability. So here they're going to gain the 10 life, which is very bad. And if I take 6, I got to deal with Spike Shot Goblin too. Ooh, this is not bad. This is not good. Well, I guess Master of the Wild Hunt can deal with Spike Shot Goblin. Do I want to block this, though, with Master of the Wild Hunt? I don't think so. I think I just want to hope to draw a wolf or top deck something here. Again, Epic Confrontation would work. Any removal spell would do the trick here. Alright, go ahead and do that thing. See what I draw. draw a plane. So I think I'm just dead to this. They give it flying. I don't have anything that flies here, do I? No. Begin and tap all untapped wolves you control. Each wolf tapped this way deals... Whoop. Damage to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power divided as its controller chooses. So my only option here really is to see if they don't give this flying for some reason. All untapped wolves I control. Do I have to tap this? Yes, I do. So that has to stay up. Do it in response to Spike Shot Goblin's ability at the end of turn, and then just hope they don't activate this ability. Unfortunately, just one turn too slow, it looks like here. One removal spell too light. Actually, if I cultivate, I'm going to get a mountain. I don't want to show them that. Yep. Alright, let him use Spike Shot on end of turn, kill it in response, and just see if they remember to give this flying. Obviously targeted me. Tap a wolf. Did I not have to target for that? Oh, I guess I did target. And I'm down to 1. Let's just see the Lunarch Mantle activation. Uh-huh. My morph cannot block. I guess that's fair. Just in case this is something that somehow untaps and flies. Makes sense. The Nettle Sentinels aren't going to do it. Maybe... Oh, I don't have a plummet, do I? This creature gains flying until end of turn. Alright, that should be enough for me to go ahead and say sure. I feel like if I were on the play that game, that would have been fantastic. But them being on the play really won it there. Disenchant seems good against this opponent. Ember Weaver just seems okay, though. It's not actually good against Lunarch Mantle, because anything you put Lunarch Mantle on is going to be a 3/3 minimum. Anything else that really deals with these flyers, I guess it is just like, had I had an Ember Weaver, I would have been okay there. Probably still would have lost that game. Congregate against a deck that can deal a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm not super into Congregate. I'll just bring in Disenchant. Disenchant probably would have won that game for me, too. Yeah, I'll play first. Alright. Well, this is really putting things to the test. I think I'm going to keep just because I have 1-drop, 2-drop, but this is not an ideal hand. Not by a long shot. Does need to draw lots of gas for it to be good. Loyal Sentry. That's annoying. It's actually quite good against me. Oh, geez, that was just... The worst thing I could have drawn is another plane specifically. Not even that good. I will 100% trade if you want to swap your Loyal Sentry for my dude. Alright, not feeling good about this, given that my hand is 4 planes. Frenzied Goblin is fine. Alright, that's good if I draw a forest next turn. I could attack with Watchwolf. They're going to block with this. I discard a land. Or I could just attack with both creatures. I'm not getting through Loyal Sentry any other way, so I'm just going to let this happen. They're going to trade here. I'm going to go ahead and Pendlehaven up this thing and just pass the turn. So this is their chance to stick an ordeal if they have one. That might be a reason to not have attacked at all. 2 Rugged Prairies. Interesting. Guess that makes your mana pretty smooth. Something like a Lunarch Mantle here would kind of do the trick, right? Oh, another Frenzied Goblin just not using the mana. Oh yeah, they do have an ordeal. Alright, now I'm in trouble. I need to draw a green source off the top. Like now. or any sort of action. Like Rest in Peace would do it too. Okay, green source works. I'm just going to probably cast this thing and not attack. And if they deal with it, I pretty much lose the game. If they don't, then I have a potential out to deal with what's going on here. So I'm at the mercy of what my opponent has this turn with 4 cards in their hand. Somehow doubting they have all planes. They're not snapping off Master of the Wild Hunt either. Watchwolf would be an amazing draw if this survives, because it would actually let me kill this Frenzied Goblin. Alright, let's see if they just make both my creatures not be able to block. If so, they're using 2 red mana. If they don't, I'm kind of curious what's going on here. They didn't, so they've got something in their hand to combat what we're doing. Fall behind this card very quickly. Well, actually, you know what? Hopefully they tap out here. They kindled. Yeah, they saw it. I just saw it too, so I could have activated Stampede Driver to make this wolf a 3/3. I think I'm going to fight this Frenzied Goblin now. Actually, it wouldn't even be that bad if they use a pump spell in response to kill the wolf. So, unfortunately, I can't cast Colossal Dreadmaw either. I would rather kill this goblin, I think. Which means I'm not attacking this turn either. Gross. Now they have another Kindle in hand. It actually kills Master of the Wild Hunt. Well, let's see what happens. It's going to come down as a 4/4. I could just block, right? I could trade Master of the Wild Hunt for this Frenzied Goblin. I don't think I want to do that. But I might not have a choice at some point in this game. They're gaining 10 life this turn, too. It's just gross. Gross, gross, gross. Yep. That wolf can't block, incentivizing me to attack or block with my master. Watchwolves are still good draws here. And this is going to be an uphill struggle. My opponent's on all gas in their hand, too. They did not even attack with this goblin. So they anticipate it's dying. I think what they're probably going to do something tricky, like when I activate it, they're going to pump it or something. And then it takes another turn for me to be able to kill this. Let's try it out. I mean, oh, no, 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 no. I think I just made my wolf fight itself. God, that sucks. Oh my god, this game sometimes. Target creature first. God, that's just the most disgusting thing in the world. Hate myself sometimes. That was so bad. Yeah, that's what I meant to do, buddy. Oh, God. Why me? Well, Dreadmaw's a big game, I guess, but it's not going to win this race. Now it's very problematic if they can pump this at all, because the next wolf won't be enough to kill it. God, I made my wolf fight itself. They're probably sitting behind like a God's Willing or something. Then I get pretty wrecked. I think this is attacking, saying Colossal Dreadmaw can't block. Oh, no attack. Alright, now I'm going to try this out. Target this 1/1 Frenzied Goblin. Alright, that just worked. Alright, get to untap here. Ooh, Watchwolf is a good draw. Alright, I think I'm going to attack with Colossal Dreadmaw and see what happens with that. If they use a pump spell, I get to cast Watchwolf and then untap on their turn. But I don't want to run into God's Will in here, so I'm going to be careful about when I use Master of the Wild Hunt. And just pass it back here. Guess I should not auto-yield. Alright, they drew a 4th land, so they've unlocked presumably some amount of extra cards in their hand here. Although, if they have nothing, like if they're just playing creatures, they're going to have a hard time beating Master of the Wild Hunt. They need to kill this card now, I think. Currently, I have 7 damage in Wolves. If I activate the ability... Alright, this is going to say Watchwolf can't block, or a Wolf token can't block. Watchwolf can't block. So I'm actually just going to double block with the Wolves here. And then if he wants to use a trick, he or she, then I can actually just activate in response. Something like Uncaged Fury. If not, they just trade and I'm in a fine position as is. They would need 2 tricks here to get around what we're doing. I don't think they have a Kindle, otherwise why not just kill Master of the Wild Hunt right away? Like the previous turn, unless they just drew one, but I think they drew a land this turn, so I doubt they have a Kindle in their hand. I doubt they have removal spells in their hand. They're probably on a bunch of pump spells and some small creatures they didn't want to play. I don't think they have Lunarch Mantle, because they probably would have played that last turn to keep this out of range. Alright, they do have God's Willing. So now if I go activate, try to kill this, and they have another trick, they get my Watchwolf too, I'm just going to say okay. Like, this is fine. They trade God's Willing for my Wolf tokens. As pro-green, sure, they get to scry. They scry to the bottom. I lose my Wolves, but that's okay. Get to untap and potentially do it again. And if they play any little creature that has less than 3 toughness, I get to just Watchwolf them. Pacifism on Dreadmaw. Okay, cool. I don't mind where this is going. Now they only have a colorless mana, so I'm going to untap and just kill Frenzied Goblin right away. Ooh, Rurikthar, not actually cutting it here. Let's go and do this. Is there anything that could get me here? Invigorate could get me, but they don't have Invigorate. Target that. And they get to trade Watchwolf for Frenzied Goblin, but that's okay. And I just have to pass here. I do have a Disenchant floating around. Maybe I should have brought in Inox Survivalist too. Now if they're on a bunch of little creatures, they're going to have a very hard time winning. Although they can clear off this Master, they're probably in fine shape. Despite my Wolf mistake. If they're on a bunch of pump spells, they're in tons of trouble. This just makes me a 2/2 every turn. This is why the card's good. The fight ability is gas, but I'm going to run out Kavut Climber first. Just see what I draw. If it's like a Giant Growth, I have better protection against a pump spell. Oh, Woolly Loxodon. I can actually play that. I don't think I'm playing into like Pyroclasm too hard or anything like that. So what I'm going to do here is just attack with the 1 Wolf token, keep Master back as an instant speed removal spell, and play this Morph. No need to keep up Pendlehaven. And I don't have any tricks, so I'm not going to try and represent one here. Alright, this game definitely turned around in my favor. I think they're probably holding on to some amount of creatures they just can't really cast in a Master of the Wild Hunt. They've only played 4 lands, so we know they don't have another land. Squadron Hawk. Sure, Wolf gets to eat that. Oh, you suck. They do have a 3rd Squadron Hawk. Alright, this is not gonna work for them. They're just trying to play out enough creatures that they don't die, but oh my gosh. 3, 4, 5, 6. This costs 6. Yeah. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage I can push in this turn. I mean, there's no need to even use this epic confrontation. I can flip up my morph, deal 6. Yeah, that's basically the same. I think I want to attack first then. So what I do is, yeah, I'll have option there. Let's just morph this. And bash with these two, and then after attackers are declared, activate Master of the Wild Hunt to clear this out of the way, not even give them a chance to soak up any damage. And despite, aside from like a Chroma's Wrath or something like that, I think I've got this game locked up. All right, so pretty horrendous mistake, killing my own creature, but geez, this card is good when it gets going. And opponent did not have removal for it. So we got beat by an all-in Weenie Aura deck. All 1-drops and 2-drops. Kind of curious what my opponent had in their hand besides these. I don't know. Anyway, let's watch wolf some people out of the game again. All right, y'all. We are on the draw this time with a not very good hand. Being on the draw makes it a little better, but man, this is not a good hand. Like, I'm going to play a Morph on turn 3, and that's it. Still think I'm going to keep it. Just hope to draw maybe some 1 or 2 drops. Opponent's down to 6 on the play, which is fine. Oh, I guess they're down to 5 now. And bottom in a card. And they have a 1-drop Savannah Lions. All right. Well, similar matchup to last time. Kavu Climber is not what I wanted to see there. Watch them ordeal this up, and I just get, like, trash this game. Taking all the hits for now. Granted, Giant Growth tends to be good against the beatdown decks. Ooh, they have a Plains and a Savannah Lions. And I drew an Arbor Elf. That's pretty good. So I'm actually going to play Forest here so I can Giant Growth it if they try to do something tricky. Although I probably shouldn't F6 if that's the case. I'm not blocking Savannah Lions. I think I can beat a 1-lander with my hand. Although I start the game at 16 life. Although, I mean, I'm not going to take this turn to cultivate. I'm going to go ahead and cast my spells. And cast my spells. There we go. Keep Arbor Elf up, which is kind of suspicious. If I were the opponent, I would think, hey, they're trying to untap a forest. What could they have? Boom, Giant Growth. Easy. We figured it out. I'm not blocking. Oh, okay, we won. Well, that's unfortunate for the opponent, mulled down to 5, but fortunate for us, since if we were playing against the last opponent, we probably would have gotten smashed. And we have, like, 0 information about what we're playing against. I mean, Presence of Gone looks fine. I'm actually going to bring in Ambassador Oak. It's good against 2/1s if that's my opponent's plan. And bring out Hatchling. Nah, Hatchling's fine in these sorts of matchups. Maybe I don't need Ambassador Oak. Stampede Driver's a little bit worse on the draw than it is on the play, but I think I'm just going to submit what I have here until I have more information. Plains plus, gross. Can I draw a forest in 2 turns? Yeah, I can draw a forest in 2 turns. I have faith. If not, draw any land, and I can play Loxodon. Forest. Oh, not yet. All right. Do or die time. No 1-drop from the opponent. They kept 7 this time, so we actually have to play Magic the Gathering. Red-white. Angelic Page. This card's good. Forest. Plains. At the very minimum, that means I can cast some Morphs. Not going to show the red mana here. Greedy hand to keep, of course, considering I have 6 green cards, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, take my licks. Guess I won't auto-yield here. Alright, Moment of Truth time. What do I draw? Force would still be good. Oh, a 3/1 flyer. Eey. Squadron Hawk, that's actually not bad here. Um, do I want to play a Morph? No, I want to play Squadron Hawk. They're going to want to get rid of this, I think. And if not, I'll trade it for dice. Oh, I guess I can't because of this angelic page. Well, that's annoying. But it's fine. It's fine. Would have been good on turn 2. Thins out my deck a little bit too, so I'm more likely to draw a land. If they attack with just Geist, I'm not blocking. Taking my 4 here. What? Why not pump it? Brian Stoutarm, sure. Alright, well, not drawing the forest by now is just bad news. Here, I'm gonna... this is actually good against Brian if they untap with it. Play a Morph. Yeah, I'm just gonna play this face down and just get destroyed this game, I think. Kept a greedy hand. It did not pay off for me, but there are times that pays off. I get to curve out, and I'd be fine against this, I think. Still be kind of hard to beat Brian. Alright, we're just going to go to game 2, I think. Should have let him see what that card is since they're casting multiple spells. But I've seen enough to know I'm just dead there. Disenchant looks slightly better. Ember Weaver's actually not bad here. What did I take out last time? I took out Broodhatch and Antuco, but kind of like that. Kind of like that. Elvish Piper seems slow, but also kind of fine. Could take out a Woolly Loxodon. But not super good against these curve-out decks. Now this time I'm missing the planes. Really getting punished for this mountain, like super hard. I'm gonna mull this, learn my lesson from the last game. Oh my god, almost none of my hands in this entire thing so far have been like fairly keepable hands. They've all been very sketchy. The first one was good. Other than that, this has been some horrendously bad opening hands. 6 landers, 2 landers with some 7 drops. This is just not good. Especially against this sort of deck. I mean, half the decks in this format are beatdown decks. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Luminarch Ascension? Alright, well... Now they follow up with anything. Alright, let's go and lose the Luminarch Ascension. If they remove this or play a creature that can block it, I basically lose on the spot unless I can stop them from getting that in somehow. They have a pacifism. Okay. Watchwolf? No, just another land. Say Disenchant would be good because it can get rid of pacifism. Disenchant would actually just be good because it can get rid of Luminarch Ascension. Which is probably what I'd do. I can't beat this card. Of course. Ooh, let me draw an Epic Confrontation here. Let me draw something that's not a land, please. Master of the Wild Hunt could do the trick. Hmm. Sure. Yeah. Might have to trade off this Master just to not die next turn. It's kind of gross. If they get Luminarch Ascension up to 4 counters, I am dead. Like, I'm not going to be able to beat a 4/4 flyer every turn. I guess if I draw a red source, I can cast Gisela on turn 7. The wolf's going to be too slow. Yeah. Oh, no. And you have interaction? Maybe you're cycling. That's what I'm going to hope for. Maybe the opponent's cycling here. White main line, bounce Loyal Sentry. That's just so they can have more bodies on board. That's respectable. And a 3-drop? Like, what happens if they play Brian Stoutarm here? What do I do? I think they want to play Loyal Sentry, so I can't just jam and give this trample. Uh-huh. Get a wolf, draw a Nettle Sentinel. That's not gonna cut it, is it? I have to damage them this turn. I can't beat this card. They can even activate it on their end step. It's just ridiculous. Guess Gisella's my out here. So then the only option I have is to attack with Master of the Wild Hunt, give it trample, and let it trade off. Because I can't attack with anything else. Also, they have anything that... Yeah, alright. That's what I'm going to have to do. Could also Master of the Wild Hunt to kill off Loyal Sentry. But then I can't attack at all. They just get the counter. Maybe I can't race the Angels, though, can I? They can make, what, 2 per turn? Yeah, this card is absurd. God, it's so hard to beat. It's kind of annoying. Like, I wish I'd draw my removal spells. What do I do? I think... Yeah, I don't think I can beat this card, so I'm going to just do what I can do. Attack. Discard Nettle Sentinel to give it trample, and hope that's enough. They're going to block with Loyal Sentry. Oh, no, I don't even get in damage that way. I just realized that. God, this is so bad. Alright, let's see if we draw a Mountain next turn. That's my out. What nonsense. And game 1 went by so quick that I didn't get a chance to see this, and I just lost. My opponent has Brian Stoutarm in this deck, too. I have a tough time beating this sort of deck. Kind of ridiculous. I messed up bad there by trading off Master of the Wild Hunt. Because I think Gisela is my out here. Two Angels per turn. Yeah, they just kill me in 2 turns. This card is stupid. Ugh. I can't cast Gisela. Can't do anything. Cast this face down. Cast Nettle Sentinel. Not even tapping very well here. They make 2 Angels, hit me for 12 down to 4, and then I'm just dead even if I cast Gisela. God, the activation on this being 2 mana is just not even cool. Stupid, stupid card. Alright, well, this was not a particularly good matchup for us. We had some horrendous hands. I still justify keeping that previous hand with 8 to 9 green sources in my deck. I think it's justifiable. It's just that my opponent happened to have an aggro deck. And I did not draw a forest within the first 6 turns of the game, or however long we let it go. 5 turns. That's, yep, nothing I can do here. And Boros Charm to deal 4 to me. Alright, match 3. 2, 1. Alright, match 3 is up. We just got stomped by... Oh my god, this is killing me, dude. The Luminarch Ascension. Jeez, it feels like this one mountain is just destroying me in these matches. I'm keeping this hand on account of Squadron Hawk and Knight of the Skyward Eye, but come on, every match? Ridiculous. And we draw plains instead of a forest. Look, this doesn't mean that this is some pretty bad luck here to hit the mountain like every single game, plus the Watchwolves. But I still have the out of drawing a forest here. We got it. Yay, I can stop complaining so much. See if my Watchwolves get murdered. Alright. We get to cast our spells this game, presumably. Probably playing Knight of the Skyward Eye next turn. Of course, seeing what the opponent plays first. Oh, just Kraken Mirrored Landscape. Mirrored Landscape's good. 2 for 1 on a land is nice, especially at a pretty cheap cost. Although, my opponent dropping 5 drops next turn when I'm on 3 mana does not make me feel good about my position. Alright, so let's go Knight of the Skyward Eye here. This card's pretty good at attacking into other creatures because it threatens to activate, but you don't really have to activate it. Hopefully we're not playing against some live and death deck because my deck will just lose to sweepers. But we'll see what comes down here. Twisted Abomination, Swamp Cyclone. I mean, we got the Live and Death vibe so far. Into Death's Head Buzzard. All creatures get -1/-1 when it dies. Alright, so what happens if I attack with both creatures? They can't block this. They could block Watchwolf and just trade off Watchwolf for Death's Head Buzzard. They'd probably do that. Take 2. Then I can drop 2 Squadron Hawks, or I could put Elvish Piper down. Although I definitely want to do that pre-combat. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Hopefully they trade off, because if I play Elvish Piper and then they play a way to sack Death's Head Buzzard, that feels pretty bad. And if they block the Knight, I'm just gonna probably let them trade there too. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. Now Watchwolf trades for Death's Head Buzzard. I do get in 2 damage. And play Elvish Piper, which they're probably going to kill since they're red-black, but we'll see. Still got a little bit of gas in the tank here. Another 3-drop coming down. What you got? Ever since that one game where I played Animar and my opponent Live and Deathed me, I've been kind of scared. Rat Catcher. God, this card is annoying. Ugh. Alright. Well, I did get to untap with Elvish Piper, which is good news. So I think what we're going to do here is attack with Knighted Skyward Eye. They can't block again. Could even pump and get in 5 damage here, but I don't think that's right. They're not blocking. I'm probably not doing anything either. This thing has fear, so I'm not blocking. And then I will cast 2 Squadron Hawks and leave up an Elvish Piper activation. And hopefully we can overwhelm our opponent before we get ratted out. There aren't actually too many rats my opponent can fetch up that are worse for me than Rat Catcher, but this does just draw you a card every turn. It's pretty good. Yeah, I would like to get my other Squadron Hawk. Boom. And play that Squadron Hawk. And then on their turn, I'm going to drop a Colossal Dreadmaw. I can't block Rat Catcher, so that's a thing, but I can drop a 6/6 Trampler, basically for free. Maybe just overwhelm my opponent. They're getting, not a swamp. Let's see what rat they fetch up. Relentless Rats. Well, that makes perfect sense to me. Well, if they just play 2 Relentless Rats, it's not the worst thing in the world. Lightning. Okay. I could actually bring in Kavu Climber here. I'm going to discard these 2, I think. Not too worried about this Lightning, I don't think. Or if I put in Kavu Climber and like discard a land, that's good. It just means I would rather get Dreadmaw down for sure. Yeah, let's just let Blightning resolve, discard Kavu Climber and Giant Growth. 6/6 Trample here is pretty good. It just threatens a lot of damage with what I already have on board. Oh, please attack me. That is a pretty aggressive attack, especially if all they're going to play is Relentless Rats. They're just not expecting a big creature, I don't think. Please tap out for this rat. Oh no, they got Murder up. Alright. That's fine. Pendelhaven's actually not terrible. Is there a flash creature I'm watching out for? Looks like they're just gonna murder Colossal Dreadmaw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage this turn, though. I mean, I can't do anything about that. But I can bash, activate, and activate Pendlehaven on defense, just to get an extra point of damage in. Put my opponent down to 4 here. And now I just got to find a way to seal the deal next turn. Through, I presume, at least 2 creatures. They probably can't attack with Ratcatcher. Yep, so 2 Relentless Rats. What was that? Dark Ritual. Alright. They're going to play 3 Relentless Rats. Okay. Yeah, those are 4/4 Relentless Rats. They can attack with Ratcatcher now. That's kind of greedy. Alright, a way to pump. Cultivate. Gross. Oh, I might just actually be dead now. Let's see. Block, block. I take 8. That's assuming they don't... If they can fetch up another Relentless Rats, then I die. So I think I can actually just afford to attack with 1 Squadron Hawk with Pendlehaven. Hope to block with my other 3 creatures. Or actually, I can force them to trade off Knight of the Skyward Eye for something, and that'll shrink off their Relentless Rats. So I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, actually, can I afford to cultivate? 1, 2, 3. Play a land. No, actually, I can't cultivate here, can I? If I want to use Pendlehaven and activate Knight of the Skyward Eye, then I can't use Cultivate. 1, 2, 3, play land. Yeah, because I need both those up. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with 1 Squadron Hawk and Knight of the Skyward Eye. Keep back my other guys as blockers and just hope I don't get ratted out here. These don't have fear, do they? No. They are forced to block this, which means I can eat. I assume they put 2 in front. If not, I get to keep my thing. Yeah. Oh, all of them? Sure. I'm going to put that rat first. And say OK. Activate. And don't forget to Pendlehaven the Squadron Hawk. Now I have a lethal Squadron Hawk next turn if they don't do anything. And I'm planning on chumping 2 of these rats here. The Dark Ritual was interesting. Assign attacker damage. Why is this? Oh, yeah? Why was that giving me trouble? Let's see what the draw is here, the rat draw. Nezumi Cutthroat. All right, not too worried about that. That doesn't change the fact that I have a lethal Squadron Hawk. So it's the other 2 cards in their hand that I'm worried about. I could play around Diabolic Edict here, which I think I might actually do. Although they have a way to deal 2 damage to me or pump. I don't think they're going to have a way to pump. Could be wrong, but I'm going to play around Diabolic Edict. Because if I block, and then I'm only left with 1 creature, they just kind of get me there. Or if they have a flyer. I guess a flyer doesn't do it, unless it's Bloodhunter Bat. Alright, sweet. Just narrowly got there against Ratcatcher. I don't think Ratcatcher is enough that I want Primal Clay. 1/6 wall is good against that. Self-Assembler, maybe. If I had another Self-Assembler, I'd be super all in on that, but as is, not really. Congregate could be good against this opponent, since they are generally going to flood the board. None of my other creatures seem too impressive there. Just playing against a bunch of Relentless Rats. Relentless Rat is good. Dark Ritual Relentless Rat's also a thing you can do. I think I'd probably just keep as is. So far, the red splash has just been hurting me. It's just been straight up owning me for the entirety of these matches. And I haven't played either of the red cards. Now I have the green-white hand, but none of the Watchwolves. Although I do have Path of Peace and Cultivate. So I kind of like this hand. Hopefully not against like a crazy Dark Ritual hand or anything. But I'm going to keep this. Opponent keeping as well. So we have a match. No Dark Rits. Oh, I do get to play a 1-drop, though. I don't hate that. Card's not going to be super good here. Nezumi Grave Robber has been the bane of my existence in this format. Or, not Grave Robber, Cutthroat. This one, specifically. It's just hard for it to block. It just basically 2-power unblockable thing for the entirety of the match. I always have to end up using a removal spell on it. If I don't draw a third land, this ain't going to matter. But Squadron Hawk in this turn. And I would love to go fetch up a Squadron Hawk. Sure. Alright, now we really need to hit a land. Any land would be fine, so I can cultivate. Uh-oh. Doing something pre-combat. Oh, Cycling First Swamp. Okay, fine with this. And I'm not blocking. Mostly because I can't block. Oh, yes. Alright, we got there. So I think this turn it's important to cultivate. Because next turn I can go like Morph plus Squadron Hawk, or I can Path of Peace if I really need to do that. If my opponent wants to dismember or something, that's fine. But since I can't block, there's no bluffs to be had by leaving a creature back. And just cast Cultivate here. Fairly happy with that. Go get the Mountain and probably put a Plains in my hand. Yeah, just be good to have the Mountain on the battlefield. Put a basic land on the battlefield tapped. Put one in my hand. Sure. All right, so a little bit of luck there. Maybe we get there with Gisela this game if we just hit land drops. All right, here comes the Relentless Rat Parade. Yep. Might be worth Path of Peacing. Note this only gets +1 for each Relentless Rat, not just each rat in general. Ooh, Piper. Piper's actually pretty sick here if I untap with it. Gisela. I guess I can only attack with Squadron Hawk this turn. I'm going to play Piper. Piper just has the greatest upside, although it does mean I fall a little bit behind if they answer Piper. And although if they answer Piper, they're probably not committing another rat to the board. So this all seems fine and dandy. They missed a land drop as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I cultivated up a land, but they were on the play. Oh, if this Piper survives and I get to start putting in these creatures, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. I might not even lead off with Gisela in case they do have a murder. Might lead off with just a Woolly Loxodon or something and see if they want to take that big boy out. Or they could just kill Elvish Piper here. Lightning. Alright, I don't care too much about Lightning. I'm going to discard Woolly Loxodon Squadron Hawk, I think. And I am going down to 11. It's not going to matter too much, though. Alright, yep. Ooh. Unfortunately, I don't have another green, so I think what I'm going to do is bash for 1. Cast Woolly Loxodon. Master of the Wild Hunt does have a lot of upside here, but I'd rather get Gisela down. And pass the turn. Could even, actually, yeah, never mind. Oh, wait, does this work? If a source would deal damage to you or a permanent... Ooh, that's sweet. I'm actually going to put Master of the Wild Hunt into play with Elvish Piper, I think. Because then I'll get the Wolf if I untap with it. God, this thing's dealt 8 damage to me so far. And I can actually use the fight plus Gisela. Maybe I'm getting a little too greedy here, but I still have this Path of Peace to take care of something very problematic. Another Cutthroat. Oh, that's kind of annoying. We'll say okay. Not getting murdered now. Alright, Master of the Wild Hunt's coming down. Make a wolf. and we drew Watchwolf. So now I think what I do, just so I don't die, I kind of want to hold on to Path of Peace still. Is there a double black spell that can kill Giselle at instant speed in this format? You can't murder me. They could go Dark Ritual plus murder. Dismember won't work. Or not Dismember, Disfigure. I might have been saying Dismember this whole time. Let's send in these goons. Hopefully they block like my morph so I can bring in Giselle and just own them. I'm trying my best to make sure Giselle is not exposed to a removal spell because it will just win the game. It's definitely coming in this turn no matter what. Opponent's just taking it here. I could just dome them for 6 now. Alright, might be time to do that. Put him down to 9. Presumably. And now with Gisela out, oh, I didn't play my Watchwolf. That was dumb. With Gisela out, I can actually make Master of the Wild Hunt fight one of these 2/1s, and my guys should survive. This looks like they're snapping off murder or something. Even then, they're going to have a lot of trouble beating Master of the Wild Hunt. Oh, no, this is not going to work for you. I'm not even worried about that, honestly. So let's go just in response, kill off an Izumi Cutthroat. All right, yeah, we kind of smashed that one with Gisela. But, yeah, we got wrecked in the middle game, but what can you do, right? Hopefully you still enjoyed the draft. It's kind of fun that we've recorded 4 videos of this set now, and every single match has been different, or at least every deck I've played has been a different kind of deck. So got to showcase the green-white beatdown deck featuring Elvish Piper Gisela combo, and red sources just destroying me. But just building my complaint equity there. I did put in a single mountain in my deck and forego an additional plains or forest, and who knows, I might have still lost match 2, I might have still won match 2. Maybe one day in the distant future we'll actually trophy out this set. But as is, I've got to settle for the long run-in record of 2-1. And thanks for joining me for that. Hope you enjoyed the matches as always. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.